mute right
Mute there.
All right, good. Welcome to the Thursday, November 20th meeting of the school committee. We are going to call the meeting to order, and we will stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Great. So now we'd like to open up for public comment. You can come on up to the microphone that's next to Ella. Maybe she can help that. And introduce yourself with your name and your address.
Good evening, members of the school committee. My name is Jessica Lim, and I live at 4 Sadie Lane. I'm mom to 2 students at Hopkinton High School, and I'm here tonight because I care deeply about the safety and dignity of every student, and because I want to support our educators as well, who are often asked to navigate politically sensitive situations in real time. I want to speak about the recent incident in which students dressed as ICE agents, in which they were allowed to participate in a senior event at Hopkinton High School. Many families, including mine, felt this caused emotional harm and created an unsafe environment for some students. When high school administrators allowed ICE costumes on campus, it trivialized very real trauma and signaled to some students that their fear is something to be minimized or dismissed. I want to be clear, I do not believe our administrators intended harm. I believe they were navigating a complicated situation in real time without clear enough guidance on how to enforce policy in a politically charged context. However, it can be reasonably said that the students' actions violated 3 existing policies. 1, the senior event rules, which required school-approved attire. I've been assured that the ICE agent costumes were not approved. 2, the student dress code, which prohibits clothing, as stated in the student handbook, quote, reasonably likely to incite or cause disruption in a racial, religious, ethnic, or other context. And 3, the bullying prevention and intervention policy, JICFP, which prohibits behavior that causes emotional harm, creates a hostile environment, or substantially disrupts learning. I believe the actions of the student violated all 3, and administrators could have intervened under any of these policies, but they did not. As I mentioned, I do not believe this was due to lack of care, but in the moment they may have been unclear about the line between free expression and student safety, or may not have fully recognized the context of the situation for many students and families. For some of our students, imagery tied to ICE is not abstract. It is frightening and traumatic. Recently, in our neighboring town of Milford, 2 high school students were detained by ICE, one on his way to school. So this is very real. Even the Massachusetts Teachers Association called that action in Milford cruel and inhumane, reminding us that schools must be safe spaces. In every situation, including politically charged ones, administrators must feel clearly supported and explicitly instructed to err on the side of protecting vulnerable students, always without hesitation. In healthcare, we report errors not to assign blame, but to understand what gaps in the system allowed harm or near harm to occur and how to prevent that in the future. So I ask that we take that lens tonight. I ask that respectfully, you as a school committee will, 1, review how policies, including JICFP, were interpreted during this incident to understand what caused the hesitation of the administrators to enforce them, and make clarifications to the policies to prevent future hesitation. 2, I also ask that you strengthen and clarify policies on dress, symbolic expression, and student safety with explicit language stating that when students express conflicts with the emotional, when student expression conflicts with the emotional safety of vulnerable students, safety must come first. And 3, provide clear guidance and training so ministers know they will be fully supported when they act to protect students in politically sensitive situations. This incident gives us a chance to make sure that in moments of uncertainty, our first instinct and our default is always to protect the students who need it the most. I really thank you for your time and for the hard work that all of you do on behalf of our students and community. Thanks.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Does anyone else like to speak? Anyone? All right. we are going to go to recognitions. Anyone? Recognition? Maybe as part of the reports? Okay. Ryan and Ella, you're on.
What's going on, guys? Hope everyone's doing good. So we'll start off with our sports update. So unfortunately, all fall sports besides football have completed their season or have been knocked out of the playoffs, which kind of sucks because obviously I want to go watch games and support. But football does have a game though. They have their last game on Thanksgiving, so that's going to be big. Hopefully, I heard from someone it might snow, but the weather app is showing that it's going to be bright and sunny. So I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Who knows? Girls football is on Monday. I don't know if that's next Monday or this Monday, but the closest Monday, the 24th, at 6 p.m. It's seniors versus juniors. I'll be participating, and if you'd like to come, tickets are $10 at the door. And then winter sports tryouts are coming up soon after Thanksgiving. Many of the sports have been holding captain practices, and students are very excited to start that up.
Some other updates. We have a Thanksgiving fundraiser. It's support the class of 2027 by ordering a 9-inch pie for $26. It's loaded with a lot of great stuff, and you have to place your order by November 18th, which was actually 2 days ago, so missed your chance.
And then they're doing Tape a Teacher as a fundraiser for class of 2028. So Mr. Spiegel will be in the cafeteria, and students will be able to purchase a piece of tape and try to tape them to the wall. There's multiple costs, but it costs $20 for 32 pieces of duct tape. So hopefully that works out.
The fall musical, The Drowsy Chaperone, is today at 4, so if you wanted to go see it today, you missed your chance again.
Do you have any other timely announcements?
You can still see it.
Yeah,
right?
don't worry. Yeah,
Rest of
it'll
this
be
weekend. Okay.
Friday and Saturday at 7 p.m. and Sunday at 3 p.m. Adults are around $17 and students are around $11.
What happened yesterday?
Nothing yesterday. It was nice out.
And then lastly, RAD Sim, which is Race Aggression Defense class at the school taught by Miss Millette, was very successful. I was there as a student volunteer, one of her prior students, just taping what was going on because students are able to watch over their tapes, kind of reflect on what happened that day, and just learn from the simulation. And I just want to plug, I'd love increased support for the program because Miss Millette works super hard and kind of by herself. So that's all.
That was yesterday.
Yeah,
That makes sense. Great job tonight, guys.
Excellent. And now on to the superintendent's report.
All right, let's just pull up the screen here.
You guys take the screen.
Here we go. So this is the superintendent's report for Thursday, November 20th. I know we have a lot on the agenda this evening, so it will be relatively brief. So on the first slide here, I wanted to start with something fun that many of our elementary students and families attended last night. Ryan? The Harlem Wizards came to Hopkinton, and the AC was packed with students and parents. It was a very nice community event. I want to thank everyone for coming out. It was a late night, especially to our teachers and staff who participated in the game, and a huge thank you to the HPTO for organizing such a wonderful event. Parent-teacher conferences have been happening this month at all elementary schools, and I was at Marathon earlier this week, and this display and picture on the screen here in the middle caught my eye. It's a table outside of Miss Davis and Miss Farrell's room, encouraging families to leave a note of encouragement for their child when they finish the conference, which I thought was a really thoughtful and wonderful idea. So kudos to Miss Davis and Miss Farrell. There are conferences tomorrow at Marathon. And also tomorrow at Elmwood, they'll be holding this month's Spirit Day, where they're gearing up for reading, where all students and staff are invited to wear Hopkinton gear or green and orange, and they'll be engaged in independent reading for the first 15 minutes of the day after morning announcements. At the middle school, it's been a busy few weeks. We hosted the 10th annual Hiller 5K, coordinated by wellness teacher Deb Pinto. This has become a really nice tradition over the last decade, celebrates health, wellness, and community connection. So thank you to Deb and the rest of the middle school staff for their leadership and organization. The middle school is also gearing up for an upcoming school play, Myth Understood, on December 5th and 6th. Myth Understood is a play where Greek gods and goddesses, frustrated with how their stories have been told, take a group of students on a journey and tell their own versions of the myths. And this week, many of our grade 6 students set off for Lake Ossipee, I think it's how you pronounce it, for outdoor classroom. We had a group of students go Monday to Wednesday, and then there's a group of students there now through tomorrow. All have been having a great time, all positive reports, and I just wanted to thank the parents and the staff who chaperone, and particularly Ms. Bimbenek, who does a lot as the assistant principal organizing this event, so thank you to her. To the high school, as Ryan and Ella mentioned, the Drowsy Chaperone started today. I was able to catch the first act. It was excellent. The shows are tomorrow night, Saturday night, and Sunday afternoon. We also had a group of student athletes, along with Ms. Carner, one of our coaches and teachers, attend the annual MIA Wellness Summit at Gillette Stadium. They represented Hopkinton incredibly well, and they came back energized with some ideas to support school culture and student well-being within our Captain's Council. As Ella mentioned, we had 85 RAD students participate in simulations earlier this week. The simulations provide hands-on practice for real-world safety scenarios. These experiences build confidence and skills that truly matter. And lastly, the high school will be facilitating a community conversation focused on reflection, understanding, and belonging based on recent events at the high school. This will be happening on Tuesday during Flex Block. We're hoping this conversation will provide students a space and staff a space to share their experiences, explore how actions can impact others, and strengthen our collective commitment to ensuring that every student feels seen, respected, and supported within our school community. From a district perspective, we're launching 2 major task forces this fall. The SEL Task Force and the Elementary Literacy Task Force. In both cases, the goal is to take a thoughtful look at our current practices and determine where we can make additional changes, supports that we need, and incorporate best practices to better align our work across our district. The SEL Task Force is examining how we support students' social, emotional health, and well-being pre-K to 12, ensuring consistent Tier 1 practices and clear expectations. And the Literacy Task Force is reviewing our foundational literacy instruction, interventions and materials to build a coherent, aligned vision pre-K to 5 in reading and writing. And a quick update on my entry plan. I continue to meet with many families and students and staff and community members. I have a few more meetings coming up that I'm looking forward to. Some early themes I thought I'd just let everybody know that are emerging. First, it's no surprise we have tremendous students and exceptionally dedicated staff and a very strong community support. So I think it's important to start there. We're building off a lot of strengths. But areas that we'll need to give some attention to based on my feedback, at least preliminarily, student stress levels, health and well-being, elementary literacy and strengthening Tier 1 instruction, student supports and growing complexity of student needs, enrollment growth and space considerations, budget pressures and school safety measures, and student behavior, belonging, and the day-to-day learning experience have been common themes so far. So I look forward to finalizing the listening tour and presenting these findings sometime in March at a school committee.
That'll be exciting.
And then finally, in honor of Veterans Day last week, this week's Top of the Hill Spotlight recognizes 2 of our own HPS military veterans, Mr. Gates, who's a high school history teacher, and Mr. Joyce, a high school math teacher. Both have been with the district for over 20 years, and we are grateful for their service to our country and for everything they do for our students and schools each day. And that is the superintendent's report
you.
for today.
Thank you very much. All right, so chair report, payroll warrants S26009 and S26010 were approved. Warrants number 260556, number 260556S, number 26057S have been approved. And the warrants are included in your folder. I also wanted to mention, because of the special town meeting, our December 4th school committee meeting has been rescheduled to December 11th, and that is when the discussion and vote on the 26-27, school calendar will take place. And we are set for January 5th, to just let everybody know, for our workshop on superintendent reviews, hopefully to be held at the high school at 7 p.m. Great. So we'd now like to welcome our friends from the CPAC who are joining us this evening.
Can I ask a question while they're coming
Yes.
up, just related to?
Oh, wait, I'm sorry, I forgot liaison reports. So come on up and then we'll do liaison reports.
Has anybody reached out to you about the charter review and this, having the school committee appointed? I did see.
That is on our agenda tonight. We are appointing somebody, and we are appointing somebody to the committee. That is our task tonight, and they are anxiously awaiting us to do so.
I have heard.
But it didn't get on the last agenda. All right, liaison reports. Was there anything we're missing?
Oh, I met with Jackie Murphy, who is on Sustainable Green. She wanted to chat with me about Safe Routes to School programs that are happening around the state. And she described the whole, like the walking bus situation and the way that those work. And we came up with some questions that she's going to investigate. And I made some suggestions for other town committees that might be interested in partnering with investigating these things, like our Trails Committee and other walkability-focused groups. It was a lovely discussion, and she will follow back up with me on anything that she's found out. And she's going to look into if there's specific communities whose school committee has been involved, because as we talked about it, we were like, I don't know, this is really a school committee necessarily, but it was a great discussion, and just that's an update from Sustainable Green.
That's exciting.
ESBC, everything's moving along. Kind of recapped the groundbreaking, but that's on track. Nothing really major to report. And we had an additional turf committee where it was decided the high school, Susan can correct me if I'm wrong here, the high school or the athletic department will schedule high school fields instead of Parks and Rec.
The Building and Grounds Department.
Building and
actually.
Grounds Department, right.
Yeah.
You can correct me as well. Building and Grounds, and everyone was kind of on board. They think it'll be streamlined and there'll be more use or less wasted time on the fields and potentially some additional revenue. So we'll meet again in 6 months.
Oh, the building, yeah, okay.
Turf committee.
The turf committee is every 6 months.
Yeah,
Great.
that's it.
Exciting. Wonderful. Well, now welcome, finally, Jen and Melissa.
Now, is my presentation going to go up?
It should. Mike, can we come out here and give us a hand on the projection?
She plugged it?
Yeah.
And did you duplicate the screen?
Duplicate the screen. Show me.
So we see what you see.
That
There we go.
Great.
Hey, all right.
It worked.
Look at that.
Yay, congratulations.
Yay. So, friends, good evening. I'd like to thank the school committee for offering us the chance to speak tonight regarding your Hopkinton CPAC, which is your Special Education Parents Advisory Council. My name is Jen Halliday. I'm your CPAC chair, and with me tonight is Melissa Shear. She's our vice chair. We'd like to cover a few things this evening. First, I'd like to introduce our 6-member board, and then we'll talk about our vision and our mission, and our events and community outreach efforts, and then finally, our next steps as a board. So our CPAC board is a wonderful group of individuals who each bring something different to the table, and honestly, if we were like Pokemon cards, we would be like one of the sweetest decks. So I'm the chair, that's me, Jen. I'm also the 18 to 22 program liaison, and I've served the CPAC as the CPAC chair since 2020. I'm a former orthotist, I'm a mom of 2 teens, and a partner to a semi-retired service dog. And after 3 unforgettable terms, I'm stepping down, and I'm hoping that somebody out there would consider running for one of the most fulfilling volunteer jobs in town, and actually one of the few elected positions that a non-citizen can have in this town. So I joined CPAC because I knew the power of parent-to-parent communication and connection, and no one should have to navigate special education alone. So next is Melissa, who is right here next to me. She's an attorney, a Hopkinton resident for the past decade and a half. She's a mom to a middle schooler and a high schooler. And Melissa brings clarity, strong advocacy skills, and a deep commitment to collaboration with the district. Next, we have Simran Kaur. She's our secretary and high school liaison. She's a recent import from Canada, a single mom of 2, a part-time tech and finance consultant, and basically the Swiss Army knife of our board. She's already our go-to resource for special education, complex care, mental health support, and stock market advice. So she's all packed into the little tiny package. Next, we have Karen Lamb. She's our education chair and our Hopkins liaison. And she recently returned to Massachusetts from Singapore and jumped right into CPAC with both feet. She's the mom to a wonderfully neuro-spicy middle schooler, and she brings creativity and problem solving to everything she does. And she's actually the mastermind behind all of our scheduling of our parent information sessions. Next is the shark herself, Erica Segal. Erica is a pharmacist, a mom of 2, and the magic behind all of our community events. Her kids love Pokemon, Gabby's Dollhouse, Legos, and water play. Basically anything that can be stepped on, spilled, or launched across the room. Erica joined CPAC after navigating both medical complexity and mental health needs. And through CPAC, she's found a healing and support, and now she works very hard to create those spaces for others. And lastly, but not leastly, we have Megan O'Boyle. She's our media coordinator and Elmwood liaison. She's a full-time working mom of 3. She's been a Hopkinton resident since 2017, and 2 of her children are on IEPs, so she knows firsthand how overwhelming the process can be. She's passionate about helping new families navigate the system, and she works to bring clarity and warmth to all of our communications. So each of us bring a diverse and complementary ability to the table to help make CPAC what it is. So our vision of CPAC is basically being a parent is hard, and if you're a parent of a child with special needs, it's a whole new layer of challenge. So basically, you planned a trip to go to Italy, you ended up in Holland. So you need to buy a whole new guidebook, you need support from people who have been living there a while. Navigating the school system can be overwhelming, and that's why CPAC is here. What helped the most for me as a parent was making connections with other parents, moms and dads, who were going through similar struggles, and people that I could lean on and understood the real parts of parenting and parts that might be a little too hard or uncomfortable to talk to parents of typical kids. People that you could text, hey, my kid ate a paperclip today, and without judgment, you might get a text back saying, well, mine ate a nickel. You never know what somebody else is going through, and it's nice to have somebody who actually gets it on the other end. And parents of disabled children often feel isolated, and CPAC is important to me because I don't want other families to feel alone. So our aim is simple. It's to create a safe, casual space where parents can feel comfortable to share the good and the bad without judgment. And we're like a family, the kind of family that shows up, that cheers you on, and they don't mind if your kid's making a weird noise in the background. So basically, what is a CPAC? A CPAC is different from, let's say, the PTO. Every public school district in Massachusetts is legally required to have a CPAC. So we're a state-mandated partner to the district. And we represent all families of children on IEPs and 504s in Hopkinton. And as of last night, that includes 260 students on 504 plans, 621 students on IEPs, and 35 of those children are placed out of district. So our mission has 4 pillars. The first is to bring together parents and administrators to provide direct input on matters related to the education and the safety of students with disabilities. The second is to deepen the trust between parents and administration by collaborating on solutions. Third is to provide workshops, resources, and a supportive network to empower parents to be their advocates for their children. And the fourth is to develop a sense of community and inclusion for parents and children with special needs here in Hopkinton. So next I will hand it off to Melissa, and she'll talk about all the great things we've been up to.
Yes, we have been, thank you, Jen, very much. We have been up to a lot of great things. This year has been, some amazing events already. We offer many ways to interact with one another, and it's important to note that anyone in Hopkinton can be a member of the CPAC. Erica Segal is our master events planner and manages to mix things up in an effort to have something for everyone. We offer frequent coffee chats at the library where we have coffee and snacks and a casual opportunity to chat about whatever's happening for you, the good, the bad. Sometimes we have guest speakers or advocates to get the ball rolling. Other times we're just kind of freestyling. On the first day of school, we have been doing a breakfast at the Spoon because the first day of school is often a very stressful one for students and their families and could use a lot of support that day. And there's a lot of great stories that come out of that day to make us all feel less alone. We hold one family event every season. Am I going ahead? Yeah. In the summer, we hold an ice cream social sponsored by our community friends at Hop Yo. It's a great time to meet other families before the school year gets going. We had crafts and froyo and a lot of fun at Marathon School Playground. We also just had our our fall festival a few weeks ago, where we had an apple cider, fest, I guess, and decorated pumpkins and made mud puddings, which was super fun, lots of fun for the kids. We actually ran out of pumpkins for the second year in a row, even though we got more. So that's a fantastic problem to have because we have a lot of community involvement, and that is what we are looking for. And it means a lot that families are coming out. We also, from time to time, have something we call Tears Over Beers, which is a caregiver night, usually at a local watering hole where we can get together after hours, more suitable to those working parents who can't necessarily make those coffee hours or get a sitter. We even did a regional one this past summer, which we advertised on Facebook and got CPAC leaders from other towns to compare notes with, which was really powerful. Our next event is coming up soon. It's our Snowman Saturday. It's been one of our best attended events in the years past, and that's coming up this Saturday, December 13th from 10 to noon at Marathon School. All families are welcome to participate in any of our events, and any staff or anyone from the school and their families who are interested in supporting the CPAC community and students. We also provide educational seminars. We collaborate with the district often. Karen has already been busy scheduling important parent information sessions. Some of our education seminars are in person, others are online because we know how difficult it is to get out in the evenings for parents. In our community, it's more convenient and accessible to do it online, but is often less personal. So we do like to have those in-person ones as well. In September, we did our second year of Student Services 101, which is an excellent opportunity to meet your child's team lead in person outside of the stress of an IEP meeting. It was held at the library, and while the turnout wasn't quite what we hoped for, it's new, so we plan to do it again next year. And everything has been growing from year to year, so that is definitely expected to grow. We had another in-person educational seminar called Understanding Our Differences, where we had an advocate and a representative from the Federation for Children with Special Needs to talk and answer questions. Our aim was to have participation from the community as a whole, and again, we'll work next year to partner with other local agencies to get more engagement for this. Coming up, we have 2 more offerings that might be of interest to everyone. In January, we have an evening with a neuropsychologist, and later in the spring, we'll be scheduling a talk about building connection and confidence for kiddos with ADHD. Also important to note, any community member who is interested can attend our seminars. Many people might have a loved one with a disability and want to learn more, or care for a child with a disability that is mainstream. CPAC does not discriminate. Everyone is welcome. We have community outreach. So far, this year, CPAC has attended Pride Day, because who doesn't love a splash of color? Extended School Year Picnic, which was hosted by the district. Hopkinton Family Day, where we made custom buttons with kids, and CPAC was represented at every school's back-to-school night. And fun fact, Jen here, our chair, attended every one this year, which was, yes, and that was a personal goal and not an easy one to do. All right, and then back to Jen.
Back to me for next steps. CPAC is looking to work with the district to create a peer-to-peer mentorship program. This is one where a child who's of high school age can be paired with and mentor a child in middle school. So it's a little bit different from things like Best Buddies and Unified, where you have a disabled child paired with a typical same-aged peer. this would be a high schooler mentoring a middle schooler. So it might be a kid, an older kid who's faced the same sort of issues, struggles, maybe have the same diagnosis, that sort of thing. So it's a matter of like figuring out how to do that. It's very new. We're in the beginning stages of feeling it out, but it's an exciting project. Last year, we decided to do something a little different with our year-end banquet, and we invited both the teachers who earned an Inspire Award and the graduates who earned Navigator scholarships to attend. And to our surprise, it was very well attended. And we want to do an even better job this June. So we're going to try to partner with the district and hopefully the HCA and make this an official yearly event where we can celebrate these accomplishments a little bit more than just handing somebody a certificate, actually celebrating them in public. So we also look forward to recruit more parent and student volunteers. We want to improve partnerships at the building level with administration, with our liaisons, so that basically we can find more ways that we can help. We're always on the lookout for ways we can support families, so if there's if anyone out there has ideas of what would it take to get you out, if you're not currently involved with CPAC, what would it take to get you out? Let us know, and we'll see if we can make it happen. And of course, we want to constantly work to identify the systemic challenges and work together to utilize our reach to get information to families and then get information from families back to the district and the school committee. So next I'd like to talk about our very favorite project that's called Project SHARK. And SHARK is an acronym for CPAC Helps Add Resources for Kids. The project is in its second year of existence, and it's pretty amazing. We have special educators and related service providers. We get them to submit a list of items that would be helpful in their work with our kids. And it's not something that they need to do their job. It's something that would enhance their classroom. It's similar to what the PTO does to support, purchasing items that transcend the operating budget of the school. It's a little bit less flashy, but it's just as meaningful. It's usually the stuff that teachers will go into their own pockets for to give to their students. And our goal is to support our educators and recognize the amazing work they're doing for our students, but also to spotlight special education for the wider community. Because often we don't realize how much the school offers until it touches our family directly. For example, myself, I didn't know that what a school nurse really did. It's not something that I grew up with, but in the 8 years here that my kids have been in school, the only time I ever interacted with a nurse was when my kid lost his tooth and came home with it in the little treasure chest that they give you at the nurse's station. And it wasn't until my child last year, just before entering his senior year, had a surgery and was installed a G-tube. And now he sees the nurse 3 times every day. And it wasn't until, I got to see what is actually happening in that room that I understand really the impact that a nurse can make for a lot of families to make education accessible for kids with any sort of medical issue. So our SHARK system, basically, it allows us to tell the community about our teachers, and the community can give back by selecting items from their Amazon wish lists and purchasing them through there. And they have the option, which we encourage, to put a little message in to the teacher or service provider to thank them. And, a small little note like that, I can't think of a more meaningful way to say thank you by giving you something that would enhance your workday. So you can also find, or we, at the CPAC, can also find classrooms for gently used items. So if you're not sure, please reach out to us if you're getting rid of something that school might be able to use, like cause and effect toys, that sort of thing. Have something that can be easily wiped down. And it's so much fun to deliver the items when they arrive. We do a surprise shark attack where we drop the items off when they're purchased. And it kind of, on my end, I always wanted to be a flower delivery person because I thought it was the most invigorating job. I think this is better. I'll post a list to Facebook and our website and share with the principals and administration for their December newsletters, because Christmas is coming, and if you're looking for a great way to recognize your teachers and thank them, beyond the standard mug with, the coffee in it or a coffee card, this is a great Christmas gift idea if you're looking for one. Last but not least is recruitment. So some people might think that they need to know stuff about special education to be on our board, and I have to say you don't. When I took on the role, I hadn't even heard of FAPE, and I would hazard to say I was probably the least qualified. So don't think that you need to know something. All I knew was that I needed connection, and I needed the safety that I felt to know that there's people who understand what I'm having happen at home in my own community. And that's, just to know that there's somebody that you can reach out to. As our very own Pocket Erica here says, that what matters most about being on the board is not necessarily experience or knowing how sped stuff works, it's what's in your heart and how much you care. So I encourage, or I say challenge. I challenge community members, especially families with kids in older grades, to step forward and help us support families coming behind us. If you've ever felt that you're all alone in this, I hope that you would want to be there for others going through the same. So there really isn't much to it. Most of the planning is done in our very supportive and life-enhancing text chain.
Yes, absolutely.
She probably has to put on pause through the workday because it's always going. But we plan things over text chain. Maybe you think your life is too unpredictable, having a kid with special needs, that you might not be able to give enough time, so you don't want to make that commitment. And really, we're all parents of kids with special needs. We know what it's like. Sometimes you have to kind of step back and prioritize things, and we just fill in where there's gaps. And if that should not be a concern, and that shouldn't scare you off. When it's hectic, we can cover it, and many hands. You think of many hands make light work. The more people we have helping out, the less each one of us has to do, and we can actually do more stuff if we have more time. So look out in the spring for an announcement of open positions, and our election will be at our banquet in June. So that's that. I thank you for giving me a couple of extra weeks to have this presentation ready for you. I'd like to invite you to reach out to us with any questions, visit our website to see upcoming events, join our mailing list. You can contact us by email or follow us on Facebook.
Yeah.
So thank you very much.
And I actually would just like to say, at the end of the day, we all just want the same thing, which is, we're here to collaborate with you for all children in the district, including those with disabilities, so that they can access their education, feel safe, feel included in their community, which is a big part of what we do, and reach their individual potential. And I feel like we've been a big part of that. So thank you, Ken.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Any questions, guys?
I'd just like to say thank you for being good partners with us. You also helped us as participating in our superintendent search and our search for director of student services in the past year, and that was immensely, we are grateful for that.
We're just as invested as everyone else in who's leading our district, so we're very happy with the choices.
What would you say the growth of your events has been? Just if you go back a couple years to when you started as chair.
When I started, CPAC was just me. There was no members, there was no COVID, and they were basically going to shut down the CPAC because nobody wanted it. And I was like, well, if you're going to shut it down anyway, I may as well, take a crack at it, because what's the worst that could happen? And we've just been very lucky. People coming out of COVID and are looking for opportunities to be around friends. And I mean, let's face it, our kids don't really meet, like my kid doesn't take the school bus, so he doesn't even meet our neighbors. Like the bus comes to our driveway, the little van. So when do you get to talk to other parents? He's not playing sports, so CPAC really made a big difference for us, because we moved here, we didn't know anyone. And having the CPAC just gives you that community, and even if there's one person that you have a texting relationship with, it can make a huge difference, just having someone to talk to. So that's what we're here for.
It's been really fun watching everything grow and following along. My kids are older, so I've not been not as involved. I only been left in the district. But I know when my kids were young and we were starting to go through 504 and IEP processes, it's, I'm a social worker, so you think that I would come with an advantage.
It's different when it's your own kid.
Did not at all, and I did not know about CPAC coming in before I was involved in the school committee or anything. And I so appreciate on behalf of all the kids kind of coming up behind my kids that you guys are doing all that you are.
So you can close the door behind you, you can throw down a rope to pull people up, so we prefer the rope. We're good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
very much.
Thanks, guys. Happy holidays if we don't see you.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to presentation, since we just heard about special education.
Yeah, well.
We'll start with special education. Beauty.
And as Ms. Beatty's coming up, just really quick, over the past month, our administrative team has been engaging in some really thoughtful discussions around the FY27 budget and guided by the town's message for a level service budget. We've tried to approach the proposals with that expectation in mind, but also really trying to focus on our areas of need, which include special education, enrollment growth, access and equity, student mental health, and a few other areas. So tonight, we're going to hear budget presentations from Ms. Beatty in our special education department. Mr. Person in our facilities department, Mr. Lebrad with curriculum, instruction, and assessment, and then I'm going to present the central office budget. And then in 2 weeks, we'll have our building principals and athletic director and director of technology present their budgets. And on the 18th, December 18th, with the joint meeting with the select board, I'll be presenting the entire FY27 budget. So I'd like to turn it over to Ms. Beatty.
I want to thank CPAC. They are doing an amazing job and really took me on board, and very collaborative group, and their events and everything are really well attended. So it's impressive to see the group and all the energy that they bring to special ed. So kudos to them, a tough act to follow. So as Mr. Bishop said, I am going to be presenting our preliminary FY27 student services budget. This is earlier than I typically do it, so it was a new adventure for me, but really a good one. And done in collaboration. I do want to indicate that. There's a lot of hard work putting this together and being as fiscally responsible as we can be, while also putting students first. So collaborating with central office admin, principals, student service, administration, team chairs, and my directors. So with that, the FY27 Student Services budget, you have the memo in front of you, does reflect an increase of about 10% from the FY26 budget. I would indicate that primarily is comprised of, the increases are comprised of salaries, out of district tuition, and transportation, which is probably no surprise to any of you. And really looking at how do we provide support and programming to all levels, pre-K, I would say pre-K to 12 plus, to include 18 to 22 kids as well. So that's what we're looking at. So the second part of my memo really goes through the personnel summary and looking at the increase at that point within the budget is about $821,000, or 6.5% up from last year, which includes primarily salary increases, which is of no surprise. We did really try to think fiscally responsibly in what we would request to add as positions. So you'll see that I have 2 of the paraprofessionals outlined in there. Were approved this year, but we need to add to the FY27 budget. So that makes up for those paraprofessionals both at the middle school and the Marathon Elementary School. And the only other new position that I would like to put forward as a request was also conveyed by Abby, my predecessor last year, that would be anticipated for the FY27 budget, is an intensive special education teacher at Hopkins. And the reason for that, just to remind folks, is Hopkins is the only building left in the district that only has one intensive teacher. So we have all of those students in one intensive classroom. And so really looking at the rise in student population coming up from Elmwood, we have approximately 8 to 10 students that would be joining that group, and therefore the need for that position is really required. When we go forward into the expense summary, we're looking at, for the FY27 budget, an increase of approximately $878,000, which is about a 21% increase, and really that encompasses the out-of-district tuitions and transportation primarily. We try really, really hard, to make sure that we are being responsible not only where we place our students, but also looking at transportation and the cost of that Some of that is a little bit out of our control, but some of it not so much. So when we look at transportation, there is an increase within that 878,000 of approximately 371,000. What we did put in there as well is an anticipated 4% increase in transportation costs. So that's added in there. And really that increase is also due to more in-district student specialized transportation costs. And also out-of-district student placement locations outside a 20-mile radius. So many transportation companies will increase the further you go out from where the student pickup and drop-off is. So that somewhat drives our costs up. Additionally, primarily here in Hopkinton, we utilize Accept, one of the collaborators we're a part of, to do our out-of-district transportation. And they are in the midst of restructuring. I just recently joined. They've put together a transportation subcommittee to really look at asking local superintendents and local directors to really look at the structure of their transportation, not only costs, just how they do things. We've just had our second meeting, but talking about how do we participate in ride share with local districts and kind of bring that cost down. So just really looking at a variety of ways to sort of make it, to increase their ability to transport, but also make it feasible financially for districts. So I am part of that committee and hoping that that will help. But due to that restructuring, there are times where we're utilizing a third-party vendor, which is less cost-effective at times when you compare that to what Accept would provide us. And lastly, we roll into tuitions, which is more of the significant increase to the expense part of the budget at a rising cost of $534,000. We have applied a 3.69% increase to tuition. Typically by now, we were just chatting about this, we usually hear what that percentage increase to tuition will be, and we have not heard that yet. So we are going based on what we used last year and hoping that they might even come in a little under that. But there could be that change on one end or the other with that. So, and looking at that, we also, as we've done in years past, really looking at using circuit breaker funds as a way to bring that cost down for us, and also shifting some of the use of the grant that we have been using in years past, the 240 IDEA grant, to start allocating that towards some of the tuition costs as well to bring that down. I would say, though, just for information, we're staying really stable at our out-of-district numbers. So while our tuition and the cost looks as if it's increasing, it's not due to number of students going out, which is really great, right? And that's what we want, is to keep our students in the district that they're residing in as much as we can and as much as they're able to.
We're just getting charged more per student.
Correct. Yep. And dependent upon student need and what they need in placement also drives the cost up. So there's a leveled tuition cost, and then at times any additional service beyond that they might need would add to that tuition. Then the last part is really looking at a few things that we're going to maintain. So safety care training is something that I know Abby instituted a couple years back, I believe, where we are doing more training over the summer, and that has been found to be very beneficial to us. So allocating some funds to be able to provide that service for the summer and pay our trainers and staff to be able to participate in that. And that also really helps during the school year, right? So we're already coming in proactively with our staff trained in safety care and able to help support students, but we're also not pulling staff and trainers out of the classroom, where then we are pushing in substitutes and all of that, which gets a little bit messy and not really what's best for kids, having the staff right in front of the kids. So we'll maintain that. And then the final structural adjustment that we just wanted to make note of is in the special education testing line, where there is an increase of about a little over $7,000, so 22 and change, 23 and change, up to 30, is for the cost of evaluations. So evaluation protocols. Not only are we seeing an increase in the amount of evaluations requested for students, but just the cost in and of itself for evaluation tools is on the rise, unfortunately. So we're looking at ways possibly in the future to move to more electronic-based testing, where that would then bring the cost down. We're not buying so many paper products, but just trying to determine all of that with training of staff and making it more cost effective. With that is my report.
Thank you very much.
So it's a net of 6% increase. Is that, I'm trying to read through it. Is that what the increased budget request is? Or is that
10%.
10%? Oh, 10%, okay, sorry.
The salary increases were 6.
Oh, that's, okay, sorry. Couldn't find where I was getting that. Is that typical year to year?
That typical, so it's gone up a little bit from last year. I mean, I can't speak entirely to Hopkinton, but yes, and speaking with local directors and job alikes right now, yes, that is the typical trend right now in special education.
Got it. And then, Susan, would you know typical for Hopkinton to see a 10% increase year over year? What do we typically have?
Yeah, one thing that we all have to keep in mind is the salary impact of the negotiated contracts. So year 2 of the teacher contract, which is 27, added an additional step. So the effective rate for staff on that step is well over 6%. So
That's driving most of it.
That is driving a huge piece of it. Salaries are a big part. And you'll
Right.
see that in all of the presentations.
Got it. And then the transportation, 20% increase, that seems overwhelming.
Yeah.
That's not typical.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that is what you're seeing in specialized
I was
transportation.
gonna say it's consistent across districts.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't want to say it's, it's not a typical, we don't want it to be a typical trend, but it is something that we've brought to the attention of, even Desi has come to some of our job alikes to talk about how do you help districts bring
But that
cost.
20% is baked into that 10% overall, right?
Correct.
Got it. Thanks.
I was at an accept meeting with superintendents in about 12 different communities. We talked transportation for almost the whole
Yeah.
2-hour meeting, so it's definitely a topic that's impacting.
Is that tied to additional regulations, or is it just companies needing to pay people more for staffing?
Yeah.
Staff, yeah.
And to
Staff.
maintain staffing, right? So that
Yeah.
is a real challenge for them, is to maintain, so then they increase, what it costs to
Yeah.
keep people on staff.
The
Cost
other
of
piece to
vehicles
it
and-
too is the needs of the student on the van.
Correct.
So it's not just the vehicle and the driver. Sometimes the student needs a monitor, sometimes the
Yeah.
student needs a nurse.
Yeah.
So there are additional safety aspects
Yes.
that are put on that van that also drive the cost.
Got it. Thank you.
I had, I know there's been a lot of chatter about kind of what's going on at the federal level with the Department of Ed and some of the grant funding that we've seen and how that's changing a little bit. And I know that Mr. LeBrod had spoken about some of the other grants. Is there chatter in your job alikes in Circle that you are intimately working with for the student services, chatter about concerns about the IDEA grant?
Sure, always. I think there's the unknown, right, of what will happen and how do you manage that and plan for that, for sure. That is coming up a lot. I don't know that there's a solution I can say right now, this is what we would do, but definitely we're working as, area districts to kind of just proactively get our voices out there at the state level too, to say how are you going to help support. I mean, everybody is funding in a very similar fashion, so how are you going to help support us with that?
These are all parts that are protected by federal and state law. So it's very, and the services we're providing, I think it's important for the public to know that these are all legally required services that we have to provide. It's not.
Well, I wasn't, just to be clear, I wasn't questioning the services.
I knew you were not, but I just want to make it clear to people, because sometimes there's chatter among the community about why are we spending money.
No, these are all required, but to your point, right, it's making sure we're determining funding if the grants should no longer exist.
Also just want to highlight that it's the first time that we've seen you here before us for this, so it's nice to.
Oh, yeah, thank you.
Well thought out. We appreciate all the details.
Yeah.
Okay. You look like
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. We appreciate all your work on this. Mr. Person? Oh, wait, Jean has a question. Sorry.
Is that okay?
Yeah, you come on up.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Sorry to harbor you on your first trip up here. So I'm on the Appropriations Committee. I'm the liaison for the school committee for the budget. Nice to meet you. Not to scare you. And a former school committee member. So thank you very much for that presentation. And this might be more of a Susan question. I just want to make sure that I'm reading this right because the town is asking that you absorb or reabsorb, cancel, however you phrase it, the special education reserve fund. So these numbers are net of that transfer into your operating budget. So including that with the offsets that you just identified, the net increase is the 534. Is that right? Or am I? For tuitions.
For tuitions.
Yeah.
So a couple things affect the tuitions. For one thing, we had an increase in the circuit breaker.
Right.
So while we are not offsetting that $1,094,000 and parking it in another funding bucket, the increase in circuit breaker was another $445,000. So that reduced that impact. What Ms. Beatty also talked about was using the IDEA grant, which typically we use up in the salary, and we shifted it down to the tuition. So that's another piece, that you don't really see as much of a change in the salary because that's so large, but that also went down to that line.
Okay. Excellent. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure I was mapping it all out correctly. Thank you very much.
Susan's on Zoom.
Yes.
I don't know if she had any questions.
Yeah. Susan? Do you have any
So
questions?
large, but that also went down.
Excellent.
We can't really hear her.
Oh, sorry. Thank you very much.
It's not you, it's the audio here at the studio. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't have any questions.
All right. Thank you, Susan. Do you have any questions?
That's a great way to end.
Wonderful. All right, Mr. Person, you're up.
Hey everyone.
Hello.
It's been a while since I've been here.
Yeah.
I hope you've missed me as much as I've missed you.
We did see groundbreaking.
Yeah.
We did see you at the groundbreaking. It was fun. That was a good day. It was a little windy and cold, but kind of an exciting thing, right, to kick that off. I'll say before I get started, my building is part of the 18 to 22-year-old program, so I get to see Miss Halliday a lot and those kids in that program, and it's probably the best part of my day. They're so much fun when you go in there, and the things that Katie and the other teachers are teaching them it's unbelievable, the work they do, and the difference that you see in the kids in the 4 years from when they start in the program to when they leave the program. It's amazing. So it's a lot of fun for me. I don't get to student face a lot, but that's my group, so it's a good time. So I'm presenting the FY27 Buildings and Grounds budget. The preliminary budget for 27 reflects an increase of $207,899. That's expense and salary increase for a total of $4,467,802, or 4.9% increase over FY26. As you guys know, the Hopkinton Public Schools grounds budget supports the district's infrastructure of 120 plus acres of land, 700,000 plus growing square feet of buildings to maintain and clean. The three key factors of maintaining the district infrastructure are indoor maintenance, which includes all preventative maintenance and regular maintenance of buildings equipment, such as boilers, HVAC units, and building maintenance, building hardware. Custodial, which includes cleaning of all district facilities, restrooms, auditoriums, gymnasiums, and classrooms. And then grounds, which includes the 120 plus acres of property, 15 game/practice fields, the multi-purpose turf fields, and we also have to maintain the equipment that maintains the building, so trucks, tractors, and so on. The personnel summary, we're requesting this year an additional custodial position at the Elmwood Elementary School. This is kind of a two-pronged thing for us. So as we look to opening Charleswood in the next year or two, 27, 28 school year, that building becomes obviously much larger than the building that we're in. So we're about 80,000 square feet at the Elmwood School now, with 2 evening custodians. So those evening custodians are each responsible for about 40,000 square feet of cleaning. So to help us with that building today, to get a cleaner, they do a great job. So I always like to say that our custodial staff does a great job. But to get the building to kind of the next level, it would be helpful to have an additional person there to cut down on the square footage that each one of them is cleaning. It also helps to cover for an outage, right? So if somebody's out sick for a day, that would leave one evening custodian to clean 80,000 square feet, which is almost impossible to do in an 8-hour shift. You're essentially just doing basics, trying to get ready for the school day the next day. So this person would help cover both of those things. It also helps us as we're going to ask for additional custodial staff in the future for the Charleswood School when it opens. So if you take the middle school, which is about 160,000 square feet, and we have 4 evening custodians there at night cleaning, and then the high school, which is almost 200,000 square feet, and we have 5 evening custodians there cleaning at night, we estimate that we would need at least 4 I think 4 is what we said, at the Charleswood School, and that school will open up as a 175,000 square foot school.
So it's one new one now at Elmwood, but then a second, so an additional 2 essentially covering Elmwood's grades. One now at Elmwood, and then another one, a 4th when Charleswood opens.
Another one at Elmwood, and then a
Second,
4th, yeah.
We want to be smart about kind of phasing in this.
Yeah.
So that's the personnel, the only personnel request for FY27. The expense summary is an increase of $52,862, or 2.5%. This increase is to cover the cost of the HVAC preventative maintenance contract that we have that escalates each year, and the cost of ground service materials. And that could be anything from grass seed to fertilizer to, the things we need to do as those costs increase. Also, the repair and maintenance equipment account was increased in this year's budget to align more appropriately with the current year's actual cost. The total increase for that for all 5 schools was $20,561. Custodial supplies account was increased as well to get in line with this year's actual cost, and that was an increase of $8,725. And then the administrative building lease, I think that was just negotiated, and the increase for FY27 on that lease is $23,576. Extraordinary maintenance. So we talk every year about extraordinary maintenance, and for anybody new or hasn't heard me say this before, extraordinary maintenance is something that's outside of what would be operating costs up to $25,000. So anything $25,000 or over would go into our capital expenditures. So these are things that aren't year-to-year purchases, but things that we need to do that don't fall under capital, if that makes sense. We try to keep this budget at around $200,000 per year. Last year, I think it was a little lower, and I'll go through that, at about $184,000, and that's why you'll see the increase of $22,535, or a 12% increase this year. And that's including, and I kind of try to break it down per school, what we're doing. So at Marathon Elementary School, there were no extraordinary maintenance requests. let me step back just for a quick second. When we do these, when we come up with the extraordinary maintenance budgets, I meet with the principals of each of the schools and we discuss what their needs could be, what their areas of concerns are for the building. None of the fun stuff. It's always, flooring or, things like that. So, I get the nuts and bolts of it, and that's kind of what we talk about. We also use our School Dude platform for HVAC products that pulls in. That would tell us, and again, it would be below the capital cost, so if there's exhaust fans that need to be replaced, those types of things, that'll pull into the extraordinary maintenance account. So that's how we come up with our needs for the year.
Sorry, Tim, that 200,000 that you allocate for that, and you fell below that this year or last year, can you then use that within your budget somewhere else, or does that go to, was it free money, or what is it? What's that?
Cash.
Free cash? Is that where, free money, free cash, is not the same thing? Does that go into that, or does that just sit in your budget?
So the current year budget, while he has budgeted 184,000, we'll use that through.
Oh, sorry, I thought you budgeted 200, but you came under that.
No,
Yeah.
so we try
I
to
got it.
keep the budget at about
I
200.
got it,
So we
okay.
don't want to increase or go too much lower than
Okay.
that, so we can be somewhat consistent
Got it.
in knowing what our ask will be every year. So this one was a little increased at 200,000.
Got it, I understand.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks.
So Marathon School, there were no requests this year. We had done some extraordinary maintenance this past year, but there were no new requests for next year. Elmwood School, as everyone knows, we're replacing that school. We are maintaining that building at, I don't know if functional sounds like the right word, but we're maintaining the building to be safe and clean and a happy place for our students. But we're trying not to invest too much extra into it, But if there's something broken, we are fixing those things. Hopkins School, because of the ongoing project we have there, we made no request for extraordinary maintenance there. The middle school will be our next, I guess, oldest school after we finish up these buildings, right? So this school, we're asking for kitchen refrigeration, and that's a unit that just in the CAF for serving. Restroom fixtures, ceilings, partition replacements. So we're trying to keep the building at a good, again, maintenance level and comfortable and clean, and that's what those requests are for. Flooring replaced, cracked, deteriorated VCT flooring in classrooms. So if you haven't been through the middle school in a while, you can see up some of the back hallways where the old VCT that I believe was installed in the early 90s is cracking and splitting, and as the building shifts a little bit, it's just time for replacement of that stuff. We're going to offset that cost with building use, and I'll talk about that at the end. And then teaching wall replacements in classrooms, which will also offset using building revolving, and we can talk about that in that section as well. Teaching walls, as you guys know, so currently at the middle school, it was old blackboards that were covered up with whiteboards that were then, I believe, kind of whiteboard fixed. I don't know, it's a film that goes over it. So all of that has seen its day, and it's just time for replacements for those things, to help the students and teachers with their work. High school art room sink, it's just as it sounds. They have an old art room sink. We don't want to replace it with a 3-bay sink that helps fit the needs of that classroom. Additional office in the administration area. As you know, the buildings are, losing spaces to, classrooms and other things, and, we're really running low on office space for people. Flame retardant spray, auditorium stage curtains. So at the high school, every 3 to 5 years, it's a thing that you have to have. They come in and treat it, so hopefully they don't catch on fire. And then it feels important, right?
Yeah.
I'll do it for us. District-wide, $63,000, and that is to replace a couple of lawnmowers, or lawn tractors, or however you want to call them. And then we have 2 well pumps that control a bulk of our fields. One of the well pumps, I think the electrical underground electrical has been crushed, so we need to do some investigation, replacement of conduit and wire, and then I'm assuming a well pump motor repair or replacement.
What do we think crushed it?
So it runs from the middle school under the driveway going out. I think it's just years of traffic on it. But I'll be able to find out a little better once we can kind of put a shovel in the ground over there.
Got it.
The good news is we have 2 well pumps that are lead lag. So we've been able to maintain the fields on the 1 well pump. But if for some reason that should go down, we don't have the backup. And when we hit the real dry seasons like we have in the last couple of years, we're really taxing that 1 well where we could be switching back and forth between them. So 1 will kind of do it, but 2 makes it better, I guess is the best.
If the one that works goes down, how quick can it be fixed?
It's a great question. It depends on parts, right?
Oh, okay.
So, you know, our well company is pretty good about getting out, but we had a well pump on field 10 that went this year. And I want to say it took us 2.5, almost 3 weeks to get it in. And with the summer we had, it really was a detriment to those backfields.
Torches them, yeah. Okay.
So the revolving accounts, Buildings and Grounds uses 2 main revolving accounts, the parking lot revolving account and the building use revolving account. So this year, out of the building use, we'll use $350,000 to cover the one-time expense of the flooring replacement and the teaching wall updates at the middle school. And this will still allow long-term sustainability of that account. The parking revolving offset, $60,000. It's partially to cover grounds maintenance and then crossing guards. Is it salaries or stipends? I don't know. Salaries. And that is my FY27 budget. If you guys have any questions. Good.
No.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bill?
She's the representative.
All right, guys, thank you. Have a great night.
Thank you so much.
This has also weirdly become my Thanksgiving tradition, budget season. I think it was, we were within a day of last year of presenting to.
We'll have to bring you pie next year.
Yes.
Gobble, gobble.
If you came, we usually have cookies for Christmas. You're welcome to come back.
You invite me on cookie night.
Yes. You're all welcome back.
Drumsticks. How's that game going?
No cookies?
Great. I literally have no homework.
Are you got the high score over there or what?
It's all about time. But yeah, no, I'm nowhere near the best.
I know this is riveting.
Yeah, that's why I gotta grind.
Next is curriculum. Mr. LeBron.
Yeah, that's what I was just going to say. Thank you. Thank you. Goodbye.
So tonight I have the privilege of presenting the proposed budget that will support the implementation and ongoing review of curriculum instruction and assessment, as well as educator professional development across the spectrum of the Hopkinton Public Schools. The overall budget for the curriculum instruction, assessment, and professional development line is for FY27, $1,990,330. This represents an increase of $73,299 over the current fiscal year, or an increase of 3.8%. Talking about personnel first, the total salary budget proposed for next year reflects an increase of $3,299, or 0.2%. In addition to that, there is a proposal on the table to add a 0.5 FTE ESOL teacher to the ranks of our ESOL department. The idea being that this position would target pre-K and K instruction. And we believe and we know that supporting second language acquisition alongside strong foundational language development in the first language supports students to thrive, which is why we're putting that recommendation forward. In the expense category for non-personnel expenses, the budget proposal for next year is $380,000. This represents an increase of $70,000 or 22.6% from the prior year. This one always gets everybody because the dollar amount is usually very small, but because it's so small, when there's a shift, the percentage is larger. For this year, or for next year, I should say, that money is targeted in a couple different areas. One, the anticipated adoption of an English learner curriculum, which is something that the Hopkinton Public Schools has not had. And we are finding that that is an unmet need that we want to target in the year ahead. In addition to that, we have 3 textbook replacements that are coming due. One is for our geometry text. We use the same text for multiple levels. The teachers teach in different paces and in ways, but they use the same text. We also are looking for a new advanced placement pre-calculus text, as well as a new additional advanced placement biology text. In addition to that, we are looking to continuously renew our middle school social studies text, which is a hybrid virtual and hard copy text, as well as some renews for world language virtual subscriptions that we renew each and every year. So.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Any questions for him? Yeah.
Feel free to.
It'd be nice if it was 3%, but at least 3.8 is pretty good.
That personnel, though, that percentage there, that's
The 0.2%?
0.2%.
Yeah, I tried to knock it down more, but.
But that was the best you could do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's it. Sorry.
No questions, it looks good.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it. Oh, Jean has a question. Yeah, come on up.
You can stay with us if you'd like.
No, I didn't want to take a seat before when somebody was sitting in it. Okay, thank you. And even though it's a very modest increase, very well done, I just have a couple of clarifications
Please.
for my own benefit. The English language learner curriculum is district-wide, not just for the additional 0.5.
Correct.
Okay.
It would be it would be something that could be used pre-K to 12.
Okay, and then the 0.5, is there an increase in student numbers, or are you just not quite adequately staffed now?
That's a great question. Our numbers have actually, over the last 3 or so years, stabilized to around 215 students. What we have not done to this point is provide what I would describe as robust service delivery and instruction at the pre-K and K levels. And so that's something that we're looking to do. We want to really be able to parallel strong foundational language acquisition that we would do for all of our students, whether or not they are native English speakers or English is their second language. We want to pair that skill with the more discrete, distinct instruction that comes along with language acquisition of a second or third language.
Excellent, okay, yeah, thank you, that was it.
Just because my memory, going back a year, was it last year that we reduced ESOL?
I believe it was the year before. Yes, yeah.
Right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Excellent.
Central office.
Jumping into central office. Before I start talking about the central office budget, I know that there's a lot of percentages being talked about right now, and some of them seem high. And I think you got to think about it's relative based on the budget lines. And so when we come back in 2 weeks or 3 weeks to present the overall budget, I can assure you that we'll be in line with the town's message of level service. So we'll just.
Yes.
So I'll walk you through the central office budget. The total request is about a 5.4 million percent increase. Excuse me, it's 5.4 million overall. Hello, with an increase of 435,000 or 8.6% from FY26. Sorry about that. This increase is not the result of adding any new programs or expanding central office staffing. I think that's important to mention. It's really driven mostly by contractual obligations, which I like to say is the people that make our schools great and their salaries, as well as district-wide service costs. So we can start with the personal service summary. Central office salaries show an increase of about $248,000, or a 13.3% increase, and this might look high at first glance. So let me explain what's inside that line. The central office salary budget carries a set of district-wide reserves that impact every school department. This includes negotiated cost of living, projected lane changes, early retirement incentives, longevity pay. So even though the cost of the budget within this central office line appears to be high, it's not tied to any additional personnel. It's just the contractual essentials for fulfilling obligations to staff across the district. From the expense side, you'll see an increase of about 187,000 or 5.9, but mostly all of it is either level funded or reduced. The primary driver of this increase is one major area. We talked about it earlier with special education, but this is our kind of regular school day transportation. That budget has increased probably about 6.2 on its own. So this is the contractual increase with our transportation vendor, and it reflects the reality of that we continue to transport a very large number of students. I believe our number, Susan, correct me if I'm wrong, is about 85% of our entire district is on bus ridership, which is...
Is that high? I'm just curious.
Very high.
It is.
Yep. And I heard that at the meeting I went to, except, so that's very high. So it
Just
underscores...
curious, what's typical? Is it
Yeah.
50%, 60%? I know it's anecdotal.
That's a
like-
good question. I don't know that percentage.
Yeah, I don't, I mean,
Right.
it's higher.
It's okay.
It's higher than most.
50,
Yeah.
but 85 is
Is a lot.
good
Okay.
number.
Yeah. So I think it just underscores how essential that service is for our families. Next is the school committee dues. There's a small increase.
We pay dues?
Yeah, we're waiting for your check.
Yeah.
It'll offset it by 2%.
That 8,550, that's what you owe.
Yeah, yeah. So
You
that's
can
the
write that to
increase.
me directly.
Yeah, about 8,500. This it reflects updated
Okay, that's
costs.
covering mine.
To enrollment projections, again, a modest but required adjustment that we have to provide for. And so all other expense lines, like I mentioned, show a minor or insignificant adjustment or reduction. So in summary, for the central office budget, it's really driven entirely, again, by the people, the contractual obligations that were required.
The whole district.
Yep, no central office staff will be added to the budget, so there's no personnel. The transportation is the major expense increase, like we talked about, but everywhere else, we tried to really do a nice job of level funding or reducing, so happy
So
to.
you're saying in a few weeks that all these high percentages are going to level out at 6%? Okay.
Around 6%.
So it could be 5%. That's
Or
around
Probably not.
6.
Or it could be 8%.
Yep.
Okay.
Question on transportation. Are we increasing the number of buses for next year?
We are not.
Which, for the first time in a while, right? So that is.
First time in a while that we're not adding an additional bus.
So I know just this is not for a question for tonight, but just kind of, I think as a committee, we've had a couple of questions earlier in the fall about people asking about being able to essentially take up 2 seats on the bus, one going to like daycare and one going to home. I know that the response had been that we were not looking to open that this year, but it might be a policy that's potentially opened next year. I'm assuming that would have a budget impact in that that's something that would have to be figured in if we were opening the policy.
That would be huge. You would be,
That's
you would
what I
be,
was-
you would be adding buses.
I remember when we had the conversation last time,
Yeah.
but so, I don't know how, just food for thought.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, and I appreciate the concerns that we're hearing.
Yeah, but,
Also, from a budgetary standpoint, that would be a challenge for us.
yeah, but so that
Yep.
might be prohibitive for
Correct.
next year, I
Yeah.
think, but just for that.
Yep.
Is there a way to cost that out, how much that?
I believe I'd have to go back and find my email, but the total number of students that go to daycare, you would have to add that, take those seats, and I'd have to find my email where I had that number, and add the number of buses to cover them.
Okay.
It was more than one. It may have been more than 2.
And the cost for a bus to add is?
At least 85,000.
Okay, thank you.
That's before hiring the drivers.
There's that. So just.
So that
you know,
85
we-
doesn't include the driver?
No, it does include the driver,
Okay.
but at this time, we are short 4 drivers.
Got it. Oh, okay, gotcha.
So we have 4 buses that should be operating and can't because they don't have drivers?
We have 4 buses that do not have a everyday same driver. What the company does is everybody at the company who's supposed to be at the home office drives a bus. Mechanics are driving, dispatch is driving. So, but we have had a couple of days where we've had to double up. So,
But that's their responsibility, that's part of the contract.
it is a vendor responsibility,
Yeah.
yes.
And do we ever find a bus can't be driven because they don't have staffing? And if
Yeah,
that
we-
happened, we get some kind of credit?
We don't pay for the bus for that day. Yeah. That has happened a couple of times this year already.
What do those kids do?
I was just,
So they wait at school for the bus to go, drop off one run, come back,
Got
pick
it.
them up and take them on their run.
And in the morning, the same thing, they just, instead of getting picked up at 7:10?
The morning, we seem to be covered.
Oh.
The afternoon is where we typically end up.
Oh,
doubling
really?
up.
I'm not, surprisingly, have not heard that out in the universe, because I imagine that for parents whose children are waiting at the school and coming home later, there may be some concern.
I mean, it is communicated to families, so they know.
Oh, no, but I mean, sometimes when something
hear about it.
happens, we hear about
Yep.
it directly from parents, or we see it on social media, but it doesn't seem, from what I've seen, to have created a buzz. So it's either being so well handled that it feels seamless to parents or parents.
I mean,
understanding.
what we do strategically is try to take the kids that are at a very close run, so that the bus can get back to school fairly quickly.
Okay.
So while there can be a delay, it can be 40 minutes.
And do I remember correctly that when attempting to see if there was another contract that would be financially better for us, there weren't other bidders?
We don't ever get another bidder.
Yeah.
A
In
lot
this-
of collusion in that business. That's
Yeah.
a pretty good business to be in, I think.
But from what I've heard, this is a statewide, at least if not
Statewide.
nationwide
Yeah.
problem, the shortage of drivers.
Yes, absolutely.
Nationwide, shortage of drivers. Statewide, one vendor. I don't know.
This
how-
is
so
a
we would be
recurring
able to-
recurring theme that came up when we were interviewing superintendents. Transportation costs.
But kudos to Hopkinton for getting 85% on the
Yeah, it's
buses,
impressive.
because with the difficulties we have with traffic
Yeah.
downtown, particularly with construction that goes on periodically.
Yeah, it's, yeah.
Good to have.
Thankful every time a child misses the bus and I have to drop off, that they do actually take the bus most of the time.
And it's impressive, obviously not being at central office until this year, watching the communication that goes on in the afternoon around the bus pickup, to parents if there's going to be an issue. It's really impressive. So kudos to Susan and Mike Bemko and our transportation.
Michael Bebko, our transportation coordinator, does an amazing job.
Really nice job.
Great. Thank you.
I had a question on the email you sent out, Evan, that had the literacy interventionist, the assistant principal. Is that coming at a different?
Yep, that's next, yeah, so that's going to be
Okay.
the reading interventionist is from the middle school.
All those will be, okay, got it.
So that'll be next time we get to it.
Okay.
Yep.
But the ESOL was
In the custodial.
both of them?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
so-
then Jess presented the intensive teachers.
Yeah, all right,
So,
got
through
it.
the asks were presented tonight.
Okay.
Good, all right.
Can I just ask one question?
Yes.
And it's really just more so looking ahead, when Charleswood is open, what's gonna happen to buses? Can you reduce at that point, or?
So it won't be a reduction. What will happen is Marathon and Charleswood will combine, and then Hopkins, the middle school, and the high school will combine. You'll actually need more buses at the middle school, high school, Hopkins level because of those additional grades. And there'll be fewer buses at the elementary level. So in total, I don't think it changes. What it does help us with are athletics. We're struggling, they're struggling to get everyday drivers, never mind the additional athletic runs. So when we have more buses at the middle school, high school, Hopkins level, then the buses are available to do the athletic runs. which right now athletics is contracting out with another private vendor to cover runs that our company cannot. So it won't really be a reduction, it'll be a shift.
A shuffle.
Yep.
Yeah, okay, well, that's very helpful to know. And are you at 2 bus runs now?
Yes.
Oh, well, that's changed. That's good. Okay, and in what year are you in the bus contract?
We just extended the contract through 2028.
That was it. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, moving on to HVAC design and engineering.
Thank you. So as we discussed, looking at the capital plan and the financial report in the last couple of meetings, we have the HVAC articles that have already been approved and were put on hold until we had a plan for what we were going to do with HVAC at the middle school and high school. So at this time, if the committee would consider using the money toward the design and engineering for the high school project, what that does is it will open up to be able to apply for the Green Communities Grant in the fall of '26. That application needs to have a fully designed system. But then in addition, the MSBA is doing their accelerated repair grant programs differently. It's every 2 years. And the next grant opportunity opens up in '27. So again, the system would be designed and would allow us to also apply for the MSBA accelerated repair grant at that time as well.
Doesn't lock us into any decision.
It
about
does not.
What we're going to do.
No, it gives you a design, so again.
So you can apply.
A decision would have to be made as to what you're doing within the next 5 years, as CMTA has indicated for the high school.
You're looking for a motion here.
Yes, I am.
I'd like to move to approve existing HVAC district-wide articles for design and engineering.
Sorry, can I interrupt?
Question.
Yeah, a question. Where does this money come from?
We have
Okay.
existing articles for HVAC, and we put them on hold purposely until we had a real plan.
Okay. So we have the money.
We have the money
Okay.
for design.
Got it. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, no, that's good. Sorry, I jumped the gun. I would like to move to approve existing HVAC district-wide articles for design and engineering for the high school geothermal water-to-water heat pump project up to $900,000 as presented by CMTA.
Second.
Great. Want to do a roll call?
Yes.
Ms. Ranka?
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Natchez? And Ms. Stevenson?
Design and engineering for the high school geothermal water-to-water heat pump project up to $900,000 as presented
Little
by
delay.
CMTA.
Yeah.
Second.
Great. Want to do a roll call?
Yes.
Ms.
Hopefully
Ranka?
hearing the delay
Yes.
from Susan's.
And Ms. Stevenson?
What?
Like there.
Little delay.
Oh, there she is. Great.
Oh, there we go.
We need your vote on the motion to approve the design for the engineering for the high school geothermal.
What?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, great, and that passes. Thank you.
There.
Moving on to our charter review committee. We have the distinguished ability to appoint either a member of our own committee or one who has applied to sit on the Charter Review Committee, which will be starting in January and going on for all of 2026 to present at town meeting in 2027. Is there anyone who might be interested in serving on the Charter Review Committee?
I would be interested. I don't know if anybody else.
Second.
You second, Nancy?
Second, Nancy.
Great. Wonderful.
You need to make a motion.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'll make a motion
In
that-
2027. To
to
appoint.
appoint Nancy to serve on the Charter Review
Serving on the
Committee
Charter Review
selection
Committee.
panel.
Great.
Oh, wait, is that, I'm sorry, Nancy, were you interested in serving on the selection panel or on the charter review
The Charter
committee?
Review Committee.
Okay, would you like to adjust your motion?
Isn't that what I said? The Charter Review Committee? Move to.
You said the other one. So,
Make a motion, I move to appoint Nancy Kavanaugh to serve on the Charter Review Committee selection.
nope,
No.
nope,
Charter Review Committee.
committee.
Committee
Period.
selection
No.
panel. Well, it says right here.
There's two different
Farmers, so
things.
it's a lot for me.
There's two motions.
Oh, boy.
So she's interested in
Oh,
this
that up there,
one.
okay, thanks.
Would you like to?
Susan's gonna fall asleep. But
You make the motion.
Okay, I move to appoint Nancy Kavanaugh to serve on the charter review committee.
Second.
Wonderful. Mr. Masters, your
Yes.
vote. Ms. Ronka.
Yes.
Ms. Richards Kavanaugh. Ms. Stevenson.
There's two motions.
Oh, boy.
Yes, we are all yes, and
Not up there.
congratulations. Thank you. You will be sitting on. Now we get to appoint to somebody who sits on the Charter Review Committee selection panel. Is there anybody interested in serving on the Charter Review Selection Committee panel?
I would do it if nobody wanted to do it. I just didn't know if somebody wanted to do it. I didn't
I
want to
think-
take two spots there.
No, you should do it.
I think you'd be really good at it.
I have too much going on, and I have trouble with motions. You think I could?
You did really well with
Yeah.
just a little bit of support.
Yeah.
That was great.
Motional regulation.
Make a motion to appoint Nancy Kavanaugh to serve on the Charter Review Committee selection panel.
Great.
Second.
Wonderful. Your vote, Mr. Masters.
Yes.
Ms. Ronka.
Yeah.
Ms. Richards Kavanaugh.
Yes.
Susan, Ms. Stevenson. Yes.
There it is.
Wonderful. We enjoy having your service. Thank you.
Thank you.
On both. Whew. All right, moving on. We are,
Yes, so I'm bringing forward
goodbye.
Policy ACAB for its third reading and approval tonight. If you remember, at a recent meeting, there were some questions raised regarding the policy and containing language around addressing false accusations. So upon some further research in discussions with our law partners, Murphy, Lamoury, and Murphy, I just wanted to clarify that while the policy itself doesn't explicitly include that language, it is addressed in both the accompanying procedure, which is ACABR, and we decided to include a sample template letter that gets sent home when an investigation is initiated that also includes that language. And so we wanted to make sure that we had this conversation and that these documents clearly do outline expectations for honesty and the importance of truthful reporting. So I'm happy to answer any questions, additional ones that have come up with this policy. We have shared it with the community. And so if, unless there's any questions or feedback, I'd look for a motion to approve this policy.
Want me to do it another one?
Sure, go for it.
Make a motion, move to approve policy ACAB sexual harassment, Title IX.
Second.
Wonderful. Your vote, Mr. Masters?
Yes.
Ms. Ronka?
Yes.
Ms. Richards Kavanaugh?
Yes.
Ms. Stevenson? Great. And I'm a yes. That is approved.
All right, and then we are on to items by consensus. So I recommend that the school committee approve the items by consensus as listed in your packet.
I move to approve the items by consensus.
Second.
Wonderful. Mr. Masters?
Yes.
Ms. Ronka?
Yes.
Ms. Richards Kavanaugh?
Yes.
Ms. Stevenson? Yes. And I am a yes. That goes forward.
Great, thank you.
So, anybody?
I move to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
Great, Mr. Masters?
Yes.
Ms. Ronka?
Yes.
Ms. Richards Kavanaugh?
Yes.
Ms. Stevenson's a yes, I'm a yes, and we are adjourned.